Check one, check one.
Test, 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 test.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Hello and welcome, everyone, back to SoCalCollegeSports.com's continuing coverage, the 2017 3C2A Basketball Championships live from Las Positas. It's the semifinals. We're down to 4 on both the men's and the women's. First game up, Feather River and Fullerton. Both teams very impressive on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Fullerton doing generally what they do, the constricting defense, holding their opponent 65 points, an 18-point win. So Perry Webster, Coach of the Year in the Orange Empire Conference, has to certainly be very pleased with where they are, but it'll be a sterner challenge as the weekend goes on, starting today with Feather River.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see Coach Webster, a former 3C2A champion himself, really a student of that Andy Ground style of methodical play. It'll be very interesting to see Feather River averaging 90 points a game if they can speed up the tempo offensively and really get to the bucket. However, only shooting 30% on the year from the three-point line. Look for Fullerton to pack that defense in tight and really try to lock down the paint tonight.
Yeah, you know he's not shy from three. Derek Randolph, an absolute stud. But Ian Fox was very impressive on Thursday versus Kenyatta. He had 35 points. It's second best in the tournament for both the men's and the women's. Of course, it was Hannah Thompson with a huge game yesterday, 36, and a win for Siskiyous. And we'll have the women later on. 1, 3, 5, and 7 p.m. start times today. 2 semifinals for the men to start things off. Feather River, Fullerton. Then we have San Diego, CCSF. And then on the women's side, 5 and 7 o'clock. We'll turn the page when we get there.
Yeah, we'll go there. I want to talk a little bit more about the matchup and Derek Randolph. I think a key guy today for Fullerton going to be Nick Anderson. We were sort of joking a little bit before the broadcast today about the old story about defenders and people defending a guy like Michael Jordan. And the story that went around was that oftentimes the guy that was going to be defending Michael Jordan in a game often didn't get any sleep the night before, because it wasn't just about how difficult the assignment it was, but it was about his possibility, his penchant for embarrassing the guy who was going to be guarding him. And I wonder how much sleep Nick Anderson got last night, because he's going to be matched up a lot today with Derek Randolph. And Randolph has the kind of handles that can really embarrass you out there.
Yeah.
So it's a matchup to watch, but Anderson did a very good job against Mike Pickney in the victory on Thursday. So we'll see how Anderson fares, but I imagine it was a bit of a restless night for Nick as he got ready for the game today.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. You talk about Derek Randolph on the opening play. He breaks the ankles of Chandler Reddix for ELAC in the win over East Los Angeles on Thursday. And, man, when you're thinking about that, that can really affect you on both sides of the basketball, Will.
Yeah, it really can. Both of these teams, I think, are going to be okay defensively in this game this afternoon. What I'm really looking for on the second day of a 3-day tournament is the field goal percentage. I'm a little concerned for Feather River if they can shoot the ball well enough to score in the 90s, which is what it's going to take to get a win today against the Hornets.
Yeah, both teams shot over 50% in their opener, but, yeah, expect the defense to kind of catch up as the weekend goes on.
Yeah, and, hey, look, Fullerton played in arguably the best conference in the state. OEC sent 6 teams to the playoffs, and we find Fullerton in the driver's seat, number 1 in the South. They're going to have a tall task ahead of them. They're going to knock off Feather River, and they're going to get the winner of CCSF or San Diego City in our second game today. Back in a moment with the start of Fullerton taking on Feather River here on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Moments away from the opening tip in semifinal number 1. It's the 3C2A Basketball Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Jeff Stoynoff, Mike Cepeda, Will Cowan, ready to get things started. Taking a look at the starting lineups for Fullerton, no changes. Nick Anderson and Ian Fox. In the backcourt up front, Kenny Barnes, Dylan Reese, Kendall Lauderdale. Fox exploded for 35 in the quarterfinal victory over Kenyatta. He'll have his hands full today. Feather River responds. Derek Randolph and Jamel White in the backcourt. Up front, Chris McDonald, Anthony Smith, and Lamus Brown. Anthony Smith finished with 22 in a quarterfinal victory. 19 of those came in the second half. A spot in the championship game on the line. We're underway. It's Randolph for Feather River, quickly down to Brown. Brown slid that pivot foot, turns it over, right over to Fullerton.
It's all going to be about tempo right away to see if Feather River can continue to score enough points to hang around with the Hornets. They have done so in the North so far.
It'll be Fox at the control. Smith steps in front from the left with the jam.
Tremendous anticipation there from Anthony Smith. Excellent job firing into the passing lane.
Yeah, Smith picking up right where he left off in the second half where he was on fire. Barnes finds Lauderdale, moves left, fires from 12 feet. That's no good. The rebound on the floor. McDonald trying to keep it alive, but he stepped on the end line, and the Hornets get it back.
Feather River very active defensively, switching all those movements across the lane to keep their integrity of the defense intact, not chasing around all the screens.
Well, we talked with head coach Randy Rick of Feather River before the game today. They want to push the pace, but he also said they're not looking to employ any kind of full court pressure. So that, I think, is a break for Fullerton, that they can slow the pace without having to worry about having to deal with a full court press. Reese from the corner hits the three.
That's a great pick by Lauderdale to set that up. You go a man down, and then you have somebody rotate over. You get a wide open look in the corner.
Yeah, one of the flaws, if you do switch on defense, you will get some interesting matchups and players not familiar with defending screens.
Reese keeps it alive. The steal for the Hornets. They're back looking to extend on the 1-point lead. Quickly down low. Barnes with the floater. No good. Smith rips down the rebound.
It's going to be very important today here for Feather River to force one-and-done situations.
Smith pulls up from 25, rimming no good. Fox with the rebound for the Hornets.
Ultimately, those are the shots that Fullerton wants you to take. Smith, a phenomenal player, but not necessarily thinking that might be the best plan of attack for him as the trail.
Fox will try to answer from 3, rimming no good.
I think Feather River is going to go ahead and take that shot and let Fox shoot from that far out. But, man, if Thursday was any indication, that's a deadly spot for him.
Yeah, he was 6 of 10 from 3 in the victory over Kenyatta. McDonald barely draws iron. Fox with another rebound. Anderson angles right, picks it up, back to Fox.
So far, I'd say the pace favoring the Hornets, a very half-court style, trying to execute the screen and roll.
Back to his left, goes Glass, puts it in. The Hornets have the 5-2 lead.
It's a big-time play.
Yes, it is. Reese using the window very nicely off the reverse pivot.
Yeah, Reese, kind of a nondescript game in the quarterfinal victory over Kenyatta. Smith tries for 3. That one rattles in.
So what you're seeing there from Feather River, you're seeing a lot of high screen and roll, and the Hornets are doubling hard on the ball, leaving the big man open on the pop back.
Yeah, and Anthony Smith, 28% from 3, but it looked pretty good there and very comfortable from the perimeter.
Yep.
Yeah, he's taken 2 early. He's not shy.
No, and because of the coverage, he's wide open. We'll see if the Hornets don't adjust that.
Well, if you the danger with that is if you adjust and you extend yourself, now you get cutters in the lane. And I thought Fullerton, a lot of times in their win over Kenyatta, left that 17 to 15 footer wide open.
Yep.
McDonald has to go all the way back in his own territory to retrieve that pass. There was a foul off the ball on the shot, so the shot counts, and Feather River gets it back. White with a great feed to Brown. The layup won't go. Smith high up for the rebound. Tries to follow. That's no good. Barnes has the rebound. Here come the Hornets.
Yeah, looks like Smith caught an elbow in the nose on that one.
Quickly to Lauderdale on the baseline. Left-handed jumper is good.
Didn't really have that on Thursday, but it's showing a nice touch there from the short corner.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the footwork there, Big Mike. What do you think there? A nice reverse pivot on the high foot, kept the ball high.
You know I love it.
Down.
Yeah.
You got to love it.
Also a spot on the floor that you know well. Randolph driving the lane, a blocking call. This will go against Lauderdale.
I like the early adjustment here from Feather River offensively. They're attacking the basket. I think early on they were settling for too much from the perimeter, and now Lauderdale with his first. See if they can get him out of the game.
Yeah, with the speed that they have and the size inside, they've got to attack the interior of the Fullerton defense.
Fade away from Brown is short. Reese tracks down the rebound. They're trying to establish Lamus Brown down low early, but he's 0 of 3 from the floor. Hooked out to Reese for 3, no good. Rebound tapped around, controlled by Fullerton. Barnes in the corner, he'll go back out to Fox. Lauderdale open from 15 feet, too strong.
It's a great job by McDonald on the closeout.
Smith wants to run, doesn't have numbers, into the lane, hangs in the air, shot up, no good. Rebound pulled down by Reese.
Lauderdale looks tired already.
Yeah.
Boy, Anthony Smith, about one of the only guys I can imagine that could go 1-on-4 and still get a pretty good look.
Look at the slip
Barnes
screen.
in from the left, the layup, good, and a foul.
Yeah, so what you have there against the switching defense from Feather River, the big man slipping the screen right to the basket, forcing a rotation that was late, and the foul.
Well, it also occurs to me, I think there's some scouting at work here too. Feather River obviously very cognizant of Ian Fox. He's been able to pass out of a double team about 3 times here in the first 4 minutes.
Yep, and very right on point. Barnes to the slip screen, and they know that is the void in the Feather River defense.
Hornets with the 5-point lead as White will jog it over the timeline. Fox on White. Over to Randolph.
Hornets in tight on defense. Look at them playing the drive. Everybody's playing penetration.
Crossover on Anderson. Randolph misses the shot off the glass. Reese has the rebound.
Numbers. See if they convert. 4 on 3.
Quick double team, but Anderson gets it over to Rice into the lane. Keeps it alive. Left-handed layup is good.
That was intentional. He threw that off the backboard. Nowhere to go. Gets it off of the backboard and puts it up and in. Heady play by Reese.
Yeah, he's off to a much faster start here in the semis, as are the Hornets as a team. They lead it by 7.
Now the zone defense. Fullerton into the 2-3 zone, really packing in the inside, not even worrying about the three-point line over here.
High post Smith back out. Long 3 for Randolph is short. Long rebound to Anderson. 4 on 3 if they hurry. Fox fakes the 3, now fires. Rimming no good. Smith has the rebound, a foul on the rebound. This should go against Jonathan Ross.
And it does.
So Ross, who has checked in for Fullerton, commits his first foul.
What do you do against that 2-3? How do you operate against it? You have to enter it in at the high post. You can get that dribble penetration, but entering at the high post and going to work, you're going to have to do that right now in this possession.
Yeah, they entered it in the high post, but they still ended up with about a 27-foot three-pointer for Randolph.
Short corner.
McDonald for 3. That's no good. Rebound tapped around. Who's it off of? It's going to go back to Fullerton.
Off of Fletcher.
Yeah, Feather River playing number 5, Jamel White down there in the short corner, which is interesting, playing at one of your smaller guards down there. So with that, you've got to get him the ball to penetrate off the reversal.
I'm surprised they don't have somebody like Smith running the baseline and then maybe Fletcher in the high post.
This is exactly what you would want if you were Fullerton for a start.
Yeah.
Looking for Barnes down in the low post. Great effort. White digs it out.
Is that the first Stoy jinx of the day?
First of many. Randolph on the drive. Good feed. Down low. Reverse layup. Partially blocked. It's on the floor. Randolph digs it out. Smith will try from 3 again. Rimming no. Rebound batted around. Back outside. Feather River has it back. Fletcher is checked in. He has the rebound. White with a baseline drive. Ball knocked away. Fletcher keeps it alive. Teardrop. Rims in.
Excellent penetration there. So Feather River, Mike, as you were saying, they finally got the ball down to the short corner and attacked through the penetration. That's what they need to do, is reverse the ball and attack the basket.
Barnes drives the lane, scoops it in.
It's way too easy.
Kenny Barnes, an interesting case here, came into the weekend having back-to-back 26-point efforts. So he's really been carrying the load here in the playoffs for Fullerton. Coach Randy Rick, very concerned about Kenny Barnes. One of the first names he mentioned in the opening victory against ELAC, Roderick Williams had 20 points. And guys, Kenny Barnes reminds me a little bit of Roderick Williams.
And I'm surprised they don't have Kenny Barnes, or Fullerton has not been assessed the technical, because Kenny Barnes is not in the actual program We saw Yuba get hit with the technical because Osterfjord on Thursday was not in the book.
Yeah, had the wrong number on there. Knocked away from Smith. Another steal for the Hornets. Reese leading the break. Fans it out. Might have been a travel. No call.
What happens a lot of times at these tournaments, the state sports information directors run the table. They will upload the roster online and just use that as the book. And if the assistant coach or the head coach doesn't check it out and initial it, you can get yourself into problems.
Yeah.
Reese with a sensational reverse layup.
Around
16-7. Hornets with a 9-point lead.
Reese a big-time player and showing up at a big moment here.
Yeah, it's just come out, I think, decidedly more aggressive as well. Another long three. That's good.
That's a nice adjustment there from Randolph as he finishes up top, puts a little bit more oomph on it, shooting from about 30.
And he's chirping to his teammates now, trying to pick them up.
Yeah. Into the zone now. Feather River, a 1-2-2 zone.
Carter swings it over to Reese. Fox, who played almost the entire game on Thursday, already on the bench. As they go to Carter, a little bit bigger lineup for Perry Webster. A foul called. This will go against Feather River.
Lauderdale putting in great work there. Another staple of the Orange Empire Conference is that duck in from the post on the weak side.
We talked about that with Randy Rick earlier today, and he's very concerned about how Fullerton has the ability to lull you to sleep.
Lauderdale looking to wave off the shot. He traveled.
Yep.
Split the double team, but now we know how he did it.
Yeah, Fullerton will misdirect you and then duck the weak side of the post, bring the ball back around. Another staple from Andy Ground's system at Saddleback. Over
Randolph
the years.
leans over the dribble. Swings it out. Fletcher, or I should say, back outside to White. That was McDonald. White dancing into the lane. Scoop shot off the glass. Too strong. Reese high up for the rebound.
Well, I don't know if you agree with this, but I think White's pressing a little bit too much here.
I think he is.
Quickly down low. Great position for Ross. Half hook won't go. Long rebound tapped out to Randolph.
Yeah, Ross rushed his footwork on that particular play.
Foul.
Pull up from 25 and a foul call. This is going to go against Nick Anderson.
Well, that's an easy call, and he's chirping the referee saying, hey, what did I do? Well, what you did is you hit the shooter on the arm. That's a bread and butter call every day of the week for a ref.
That, and you need to give him the right to land.
And right now, on the other end, defensively, Anthony Smith looks a little checked out. He is not working early in the possession defensively, allowing Fullerton way too good of a position down low.
Yeah, Ross. That was Kevin McHale type position he had down there. About 2 feet from the basket.
It wasn't a Kevin McHale finish, but I get where you're going.
Kevin McHale's footwork on the jump hook a little better than what we saw there.
Maybe the best ever.
Certainly at the up and under, to say the least.
Yeah, he had a few moves, didn't he?
The Kevin McHale torture chamber, if you will.
Meanwhile, Randolph coolly draining the free throws. He's hit 2. He's got 1 more coming.
Only 68% from the line, and we often talk about it on the broadcast. Sometimes players that are really good shooters don't take their time at the line, but I really like what Randolph's doing here.
Yeah, he's got a decent routine set up. He's a little square for my taste. I'd like to see him get his elbow lined up a little better, but at least he's in a routine.
Up to 6 in the game now for Randolph.
Strong shoulder lined up.
Just a drop.
Ian Fox has returned. Carter starts a drive. Lauderdale.
Now
the Hornets taking some time.
Yep.
Baseline drive for Carter.
Yep. Feather River into the man-to-man. Out
Reese
of that matchup zone.
With a long 3. Karam's outside to White. Randolph in on Fox. Now he wants to go to work. He'll pull up from 3 again, rimming no good.
I like that shot for Randolph, though, and I'd like to see them maybe go baseline 1-4 in that set and let him go one-on-one versus Fox.
No question.
Fox starts a drive on Randolph. Terrific feed down low. Ross missed the layup, but he's fouled. He'll go to the line for a couple of free throws.
And that's what I'm talking about there. Smith doing nothing in that possession defensively, and Ross feasts on it.
Yeah, so here's what goes on. The ball starts on the right-hand side, and they cross back against the grain, right over the split line of the court. It's actually painted in gray, so you can see it here.
Yep.
And right when that happens, the post ducks in. So if you're Feather River, you want to drive the penetration to the sideline and not allow them to reverse field, so to speak, and come back across the grain.
Ross shoots 66% from the line. He hits the first. 1 more coming.
Spread the word, everybody. You can watch us live on our website, www.socalcollegesports.com. Also on our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. You can watch us on the big screen if you have an Apple TV or Xbox One.
18-13. Hornets with the 5-point lead.
Fullerton still in the zone, packing it inside. They only extend, obviously, on Randolph. Everybody else in tight.
McDonald, a drive on Reese, tries to leave it for Brown. Brown with the shot from 10 feet. Yes, and a foul.
How about the touch from the big man? He loses it going up, regains possession, and then flicks it in, gets fouled.
I tell you, Reese was very close to the steal, but Brown with the strength.
That's 2 on Reese.
Yep. And not only the touch, but the concentration to finish through the contact.
Getting some look for some Pac-12 schools. May or may not be coming back next year, but I got to tell you, Lamius Brown's got a future in the world of basketball.
That one rims high, no good. Missed steal attempt from White. The Hornets maintain a 3-point lead. Fox will walk it up.
As most 7-footers do.
Yep. Most of them have the opportunity to play for a long time.
They really do.
Quick pass down low to Ross. Goes up, partially blocked by Brown. It's out of play. It'll stay with Fullerton.
Now, see, Lamius Brown has the type of length where he can recover in a big way versus Anthony Smith. Not that Smith doesn't have length, but Lamius Brown at 7 feet and probably a 7'2", 7'3" wingspan. Is somebody bleeding?
Looks like it.
Timeout on the floor. Not sure who it is.
I think Lauderdale maybe caught a nail or something like that. But back to my point about Lamius Brown, he gets to that block and goes straight up with it. That's very good coaching right there on the baseline in a tense moment.
No question about it.
So clean that up for Lauderdale. Meanwhile, Jordan Watkins getting ready to check in, and I don't think we saw Jordan Watkins on Thursday.
I think right now, if you're Fullerton, you're very concerned. You're only up by 3, and Feather River only 27% from the field.
Yeah, 5 of 18.
Yeah, Feather River's going to get that. They're going to get a little bit better flow going offensively once they continue to find the seams of that zone.
Yep. Anderson swings it over to Carter. Drops it down low. Barnes in the low post. Spins baseline. Half hook. No good. Rebound pulled down by Fletcher.
You gotta have that shot.
Yeah, that's 2 or 3 jump hooks that have been left short, and it really boils down to just rushing the footwork and not coming through on the hop out of the dribble.
Yep.
White stepped on the sideline. Turns it back over to Fullerton.
18-15, 10:07 to go. Mike Cepeda, Jeff Stoynoff, Will Cowan with you on today's coverage. Saturday semifinals, 3C2A edition. Fox will bring it up here for Fullerton, working against Derek Randolph. Barnes at the high post, swings through to his right, lays it up and lays it in, and one.
Yeah.
Got hit upside the head, and that's a terrific finish from Barnes.
Yeah, such great action. That time the elbow entry, the dive cut, and they had a nice little brush screen there, creating just enough space to get the penetration.
And the reason why they're able to get that space is because the rotation is just a little bit off here from Feather River.
Yeah, they're a step late on some of these penetration plays coming off either elbow.
Yeah. Kevlin Smith Swint checks into the ball game here for the Golden Eagles. Game 2 after this, CCSF San Francisco taking on San Diego City. And what should be a barn burner. Lamius Brown taps the rebound to himself, gets it out to Randolph. Randolph going to bring it up. Looks like an extended 2-3 here, Will.
Yep. Only because of our friend at the point there. They're extending, obviously, to get on to Randolph. Everybody else pretty tight, though, still.
Fletcher went Larry Bird, shot that from behind the backboard there. It's off the mark. We're back the other way for Fullerton. Into the corner. Nigel can't get that to go. Rebounded by Barnes. Barnes is fouled on the floor. Should be baseline out of bounds.
Yes, it is. Evan Swanger, the official, right on the call.
Yeah, Evan Swanger, Matt Diddy, Eddie Shannon, the officials today.
And I did want to make a point. The refereeing on Thursday was very good, continues to be very good here today.
Well, Jerry White over there at the table, the Western State Conference Commissioner, has been assigning and evaluating officials for the greater part of his career. He's officiated the Big 12, every power conference. He worked for the Lakers in the NBA, so it's safe to say that Jerry White knows a thing or two about getting the best officials in place.
Transition, McDonald's too strong. Fletcher with a follow.
That was all started by terrific defense by Randolph, poking it away from Fox on the drive.
He's got his team fired up, only trailing by 3 to the top team in the South. Barnes with it, hands off to Fox. Fox doesn't have the type of room that he had on Thursday. Frees himself up though over Lamus Brown from 17.
He gets a great screen from Barnes.
Yep, good execution there. Feather River has been late a time or two switching onto ball screen.
You know, guys, if I'm Perry Webster on the sideline for Fullerton, I'm telling my team, look, this is kind of an emotional team that we play. They'll make some runs, but just stay in the game. You have to expect that and deal with it as we play for 40 minutes.
Another triple for Derek Randolph, and he's chirping in the ear of Ian Fox.
That was from NBA range.
It really was. And he's got some NBA friends might be watching the broadcast. He grew up with Jaleel Okafor and Jabari Parker playing AAU ball. Putting on a show here with his team only down 2 in the 3C2A semifinal number 1. Swint on the far side, looking to enter into the short corner. Nothing there, gives it back out to Randolph. 12 on the shot clock. Back to Swint. Swint goes to work on the baseline. Leaves his feet, stepped on the baseline. We're going back the other way.
Yeah, good defense there from Fullerton.
Yeah, look like Kenny Barnes
particularly
there.
Barnes, yeah.
But I think the key for Fullerton is to not get caught up in the emotion. Stay
Yeah.
very focused on what they're doing, weather the runs, keep doing what they're doing, and hope at the end of 40 minutes you're looking up at the winning side of the scoreboard.
It is, and it's a low.
That's much better action defensively from Williams. Even though Barnes scores that ball, he works earlier in the possession.
Well, that time they were able to throw it over the top of the defense, clearing out the weak side help.
You know, Mike, you made the point earlier that you didn't really like what you were seeing from Smith defensively, and I think it's telling that he's on the bench right now.
Yeah, not a shocker there. Lamus Brown from 17, that's off. Carter trying to drive, kicks back to Barnes, over to Fox from 3, short. Rebounded by Lamus.
Pace of play right now definitely favoring Fullerton. Low scoring game, only in the 20s. 7 minutes left in the first half.
Only up by 4 though here, and obviously Feather River within striking distance. Randolph nearly lost it, gets it back, recovers. 14 on the shot clock, over to McDonald, back to Randolph.
I like that action. That ball screen is going to free up the wing and baseline rotation with all the traffic looking at Randolph.
If you're going to run 2 guys at Randolph and you're Fletcher, you need to knock that shot down.
No question about it, Stoy. Good call.
Anderson working up top against Swint. And Fullerton continues to take the air out of the ball. Anderson working inside, gets it to Barnes, who lays it up and in.
Once again, tremendous work, crossing over and working the baseline from the offside post.
Anderson had 9 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists in the victory on Thursday.
Randolph brings it near side to Swint, gets it back. Looking enter it into the high post, and he does. Great reversal. Swint drives the baseline, off to Williams. Williams is fouled going up. 2 shots coming his way. It's good action versus that 2-3 here, Will.
Yep, drawing the double team, finding the open man at that point. Williams just ducking in behind the defense.
Williams from the free throw line, about 67% on the season. Well, Smith got out to a pretty early start here. Remember, he only had 2 points in the first half on Thursday and then exploded for 19 in the second half to go along with 4 dunks.
I think that's the nightmare scenario for Fullerton right now, isn't it? That he's over there on the bench and said, well, I hope we don't get the second half that we saw from him on Thursday.
Yeah, we're only up by 5. Make it 4. But Fullerton, obviously, they're very used to playing in tight games. We talked about the conference that they play in, the Orange Empire Conference, one of the top conferences in the state for men's basketball.
Very competitive games.
And that helps you in the postseason, that's for sure. Anderson with it now, gets a screen from Ross, comes around and picks up his dribble. Off to Fox. Randolph right there, has to give it up.
Yeah, Feather River, much better job
here. That's an
here.
offensive foul on Lauderdale. That's going to be his second, I believe.
Yeah, Feather doing a lot better job now contesting some of that high screen and roll action and not allowing the ball down the middle of the lane.
Yeah, their cohesion, I think, defensively has been a lot better here ever since Smith came out. And that's not a knock on Smith, but
you know what I think is interesting is that we're talking about defending on the perimeter, and ELAC, a very good shooting three-point shooting team, was only 3 of 21 in the matchup with Feather River on Thursday.
I think the athleticism and the ability to close out in a hurry really helps you. Swint from 3, no. Rebound won by Anderson. In transition, thought he had numbers. That's pretty good transition defense here from Feather River. Ross, inside pass to Barnes. Barnes kicks it back out to Anderson. Anderson's going to reset. 18 on the shot clock, brings it to his left, gets a screen from Ross. Anderson, I thought he dragged the pivot. That should have been a travel. Carter drives the lane. Lamus Brown right there. Ross with a follow, no good, rebounded by Randolph.
Yep. Got to credit Feather River again, tightening up on the defense.
That pass intercepted by Anderson. That's a good read. Turnover from Randolph. He says, my bad, pick it up defensively.
Yeah, terrible spacing that time from Feather River on the fast break. 2 players in the same location.
Carter going to pull up from 19. That's off. White taps a rebound to himself. He'll bring it up. White all the way to the bucket. Nobody stops him. That's going to be an offensive charge, though.
Carter with a good job setting himself.
I think if White just pulls up, goes to the jump stop from 15, he's got a wide open shot. That's his shot. We saw him hit that on Thursday.
Yeah, I think he's doing too much, but he really just needs to let the game come to him. Let Randolph make a play here and there. That would be my advice.
Yeah.
They're going to get him a little rest now. They're going to go a little bigger, bringing Fletcher in now on the offside.
Fletcher, Williams, and Smith back into the ball game. Let's see if he can pick it up defensively. He's extended out, working on Anderson. Fox with the ball guarded by Randolph. Fox off to Anderson. Anderson being checked hard by Smith. Smith saying, I'm not letting you do anything right here. There's a screen. Williams switches off. Anderson to the rack. Off to Barnes. Williams with a near steal. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Hornets. 7 on the shot clock.
That's a nice job by Williams picking up Anderson in the switch.
Yeah.
Staying with him, and Anderson ends up underneath the basket. Very little choice of what to do with the ball at that point.
Williams comes off.
Feather has extended their ball pressure, and what they've done is forced Fullerton out of some of their sweet spots right at the three-point line. You can see it here.
Good adjustment defensively. Barnes to the rack on Fletcher. Left-handed layup. Nifty move from Anderson or from Barnes.
Yeah, using his body there to ward off the defender.
That's called putting the defender in jail. Smith up and under. 8-footer. That's good.
Soft touch.
Very soft. Especially with that kind of athleticism. You don't often see that.
Got to give Smith credit there, the pivot, the turn. And as you said, the up and under now, much smarter from Randolph going behind the screen.
Fox has that tapped off of his chest. Oh, wow.
What
I thought Randolph got in there.
Fast answer, Derek Randolph on that drive.
And Randolph and Smith continue to be into the ear of the Hornets. And I think they're starting to get in their heads a little bit. Only down by 4, 3:47 to go. We have a timeout on the floor. We're going to take a timeout ourselves. You're watching SoCalCollegeSports.com's coverage. Semifinal Saturday here in the 3C2A. Four-point lead for the Hornets. He'll try to add to it right here, and Barnes will do just that. Out-of-bounds play catches the Golden Eagles off guard.
Barnes up to 13 in the game, or 15 in the game.
So on Thursday it was Ian Fox with 35. Barnes now with 15 in the first half. Randolph off to White. White around a screen from Smith. He'll bring it back out. 10 on the shot clock. Randolph going to have to go to work after he takes a peek at the shot clock. Kicks it back out to White. White, short corner. Fletcher traveled.
Fullerton defense really picking up the pace and a little of the conversation.
And FRC starting to get a little taste of their own medicine in the head game. Fletcher's going to come off. He'll be replaced by McDonald.
Yeah, both teams are pushing the envelope here a little with the talk.
You know, I thought at times on Thursday, Kenyatta looked to go after Ian Fox defensively in individual matchups. And I have to tell you, in this first half, I think he's played outstanding on the defensive end.
And at the same time, I think the zone has really helped disguise and mask his deficiencies defensively. That's an unbelievable finish from Barnes.
Yeah, how does he not get that call? They go to old Princeton action, a weak side handoff. He fakes and keeps, no call.
And I think Perry Webster is in the ear of the officials right now asking that very question.
As he should. Oh, well
Smith
done.
inside. Brown has it stripped away. Reese, no, Carter goes off of his foot. It'll stay here with the Golden Eagles.
Guys, Kenny Barnes is everywhere. Sensational finish, gets a hand in there to rip it out from Brown. Nearly had another turnover.
Yeah, we have him lined up for color in the third quarter. Brown inside, doesn't bring it down, gives it off to White. Back down, repost, nothing there. Good defense inside by Ross. It's a steal. Fox back the other way, working on Randolph. One-on-one. Fox to the basket, has it blocked by Smith. McDonald lost it out of bounds off of his own foot. The wheel's starting to come off a little bit here for FRC.
Fox at the little Euro step, looking around for a call.
Yeah, he's wondering how that wasn't goaltending.
Steal from Randolph. Oh, no. That can't be a timeout. I don't think that rule's in play. That's a bad call. Will, is that rule in play in the 3C2A?
I do not think you can make the timeout call. Oh, a technical foul here. Perry Webster going berserk. They tee him or warn him?
I think they warned him.
The assistant coaches need to step in there. He's going absolutely berserk on the fact that he can go airborne and call timeout.
That's not allowed, is it?
It's allowed if you're in bounds, but now it's hard to see from here. I feel like he was halfway in the bleachers.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. But FRC going to be the beneficiary of, I think, a missed call there from the referees, and I think for the men's side, that's the first one we've seen all weekend.
Another thing that I think is at play here in that Fullerton huddle, the Hornets had 24 turnovers in the victory on Thursday, and I know that Perry Webster was very concerned about that throughout the game, really keeping Kenyatta in that game for longer than they should have been, and he immediately responded there when he saw what I think was a careless turnover.
Well, Will Cowan, last time you were on color commentary for the state finals, it was when Perry Webster won it, Cal Lutheran, back in 2010?
Yep, 2010, Saddleback over, I believe, Citrus in a championship game that night. Really well-played game. Perry was really a phenomenal competitor. Tony Lippold, the athletic director at Saddleback's son, was on that team as well.
TJ was the one that hit the three that gave him the lead at the end of that game.
Yeah, no question about it. Oh, great.
Brown inside. What a move by Lamus. Brown over Ross, goes under the basket and flicks it in.
You know, Lamus Brown looks like one of those guys that needs a little higher degree of difficulty on his shot. Something about that settles him down a little bit, because the couple that he's hit in the first half here have been of the near circus variety.
He likes to perform, that's for sure. Barnes at the high post. Smith goes for the steal, and it's an easy two for Barnes. Barnes nearing 20 now here in the first half.
Well, last thing you want to do with a guy like Kenny Barnes is give him easier shots.
Right.
Smith outside, White wide open from three. No. Rebound, fought for, not one. It's going to be a foul on Carter, trying to box out on Lamus Brown.
That's a tough job.
Ryan Pratt was in for the rebound. He was point blank.
Brown.
Well, if that shot goes in, does that end up being free throws? One-on-one opportunity here.
Yeah.
That's an 18 foul.
Well, we saw a similar play earlier in this first half on a three that was made and a foul was called, and Feather River got the ball back.
First free throw, rims out. Barnes with a rebound, doing it all for Fullerton here in the first half.
Be careful. Some of these long passes, Feather River really contesting the passing lane.
They really are.
There's that
Anderson
ball
with
screen.
it, gets a screen from Ross. That should be a foul going the other way, and it is. It's a delayed call, and gotta hope that White's okay.
I hate to say it, but it's really Anderson's fault on that play. It usually is the guard leaving early and not allowing the big man to get set on that screen. That's twice tonight.
Gotta hate it when that happened.
Big Mike's having flashbacks.
Bad ones.
Anderson on the floor with 2 fouls right now for Fullerton.
Somebody gets dunked on, I'm gonna have more bad flashbacks.
Uh-oh.
Pratt with it on the far side. Randolph out front. Fires from 35. Maybe a little bit beyond his range. Not shy about it, though. He's He's hit a few here in the first half, or under a minute to go in the first.
I just don't know why you want that shot from that far out with a lot of time on the shot clock.
Well, he averages
You
10
don't.
attempts a game.
To answer your question, you don't. However, you got to take the good with the bad when you have a guy like Randolph on the court. Every once in a while, he has his own agenda.
That hook off the back iron, not left short that time. So Fullerton trying to make the adjustment. Randolph inside, nearly traveled. He threw it away. Barnes with a steal. Barnes filling up the stat sheet as we speak.
Yeah, up to 19 points, 5 rebounds.
19 and 5, and I think he has a couple steals to go with. Looks like Fullerton will be content to hold for what might be the final possession here.
Yeah, about a 3-second difference.
differential.
Yeah.
Carter working on Prott. He'll go to work, crossover to his left. He'll pull up, nothing there. Out to Barnes. Barnes with 1 on the shot clock. Fadeaway jumper, no good. It hit the top of the apparatus. And we'll go the other way with 2.4 seconds to go. Let's see if Randolph can work some magic at the end of the half.
Apparatus, that's the word of the first half, Mike.
We call it a cable in most gyms.
Either way, Randolph from half court. It's off the front iron.
Boy.
Nearly went in. Will go in at the half. Top team in the South with an 8-point lead over Feather River. You are watching SoCalCollegeSports.com's coverage, the 2017 3C2A Final Four in the men's.
All right.
halftime here in semifinal number 1 in the 3C2A basketball championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. And gentlemen, Fullerton College, I would say things going according to plan so far. They have the 34-26 lead through 20 minutes.
Well, if the plan was for Kenny Barnes to have 19 at the half, I'd say mission accomplished. Man, he's playing lights out right now and really causing a lot of problems for the Golden Eagles.
No question about it. Fullerton shooting 44% from the field. That is on par for what they need to accomplish here, playing great defense, with Feather River only shooting 29% on 9 of 31 shooting. So Fullerton doing what they need to do on the defensive end, and they are scoring, although it is pretty heavy in Barnes's wheelhouse.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'd say here? We saw a game yesterday, maybe a little reminiscent of what we're seeing here in the Siskiyou-ELAC game. ELAC went in with a lead at halftime by 6. I think it was 46-40, and then you saw a couple players on Siskiyou's side for the women get really hot, and then they just blew out ELAC, who very good defensively on the year, much in the same mold, maybe not schematically, but in terms of what they do defensively and how they're able to impact that side of the floor. Might we see that here in the second half? They definitely have the personnel to do it. Question is, will they?
Yeah, Barnes and Dylan Reese, a combined 13 for 18 from the field. Clearly, if you're Fullerton, if you can keep that up, you're in good shape. But will someone step up here? We still have 20 minutes of story left to tell.
Will Cowan, who's your X factor here in the second half for Feather River?
For Feather River, the X factor without a question is the big fella, Brown, number 0, inside. If he can get enough touches to continue executing, you saw a spin move underneath the rim, you saw a couple nice plays from him, and he needs to keep that going.
Yeah, if you keep that going, you go inside out, you're going to free up the perimeter, because right now the 2-3 is extended, and it's doing a really good job of making Feather River shoot from way beyond their range.
One last thing, you might see Fullerton switch out of that 2-3 and go into some form of a 1-2-2 zone to keep better pressure on the ball at the top.
Second half coming up in just a few moments. 34-26 Fullerton on top of Feather River with a spot in the championship game on the line here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. We'll be back in a little bit for the second half. Underway in the second half. Fullerton in the home whites will work it from right to left. Ian Fox guarded closely by Smith. Anderson will try for 3 and hit. Nick Anderson with the tray. The Hornets step out to their largest lead at 11.
I think that's going to be big for Fullerton to get a third offensive weapon going, so a good start there.
Smith will try to answer. He does. Anthony Smith now with 10. Back to an 8-point game as the teams trade long-range shots here in the first minute of the second half. Barnes to the basket, blocked by Brown, dug out by Fletcher.
Excellent recovery there from Brown after getting beat on the initial screen. There's Smith again from the corner.
Baseline, rimming, no good. Tapped away from Reese. He might have gotten hit in the face. He's down. A foul going to be called, as they'll take a look at Reese, who's still on his back. And it looks like the classic maybe poked in the eye type situation for Dylan Reese. For the moment, it looks like he's going to stay in the game.
Yes, they did not call for the athletic trainer to come out. They're going to let him walk it off.
Remember the Rocky IV advice, Dylan Reese. If you see 3 rims, shoot at the one in the middle.
Wow. That just took me back to the day as a kid. I'm a huge Rocky fan.
If you hang out with me, you're going to go back there. I mean,
if it wasn't a copyright issue, I think I'd play Hearts on Fire at the next break.
John Cafferty.
Strong.
Fox over the timeline. Guarded by Randolph all the way to the baseline. They get it back to Barnes, to the basket. Left-handed scoop, no good. Rebound pulled down by Lauderdale. Lauderdale lost it on the way up. Foul called. Lauderdale's going to head to the line. They're going to call this a shooting foul, I believe.
They caught Smith on that with his hand in the cookie jar. I'm not sure. Actually, they caught Brown.
Yeah, it's Lamus Brown. They're going to say got him.
I think it's a terrible call. I don't think that went against Brown. There were two people swiping down low.
And it's number 2 on Lamus Brown.
It should have been on White. White working with 3, so working with 2 fouls already, so maybe a little bit of a silver lining there if you're Feather River.
First free throw good for Lauderdale.
We talked about White in the first half for Feather River pressing a little bit too much. I'd like to see him settle down here in the second half. Obviously, if FRC is going to make a run, but about to go down by double digits.
Well, if I'm White, I just let Randolph run the show and I play off of him. I don't see why it's so complicated to figure that out.
Yeah, I agree.
In and out for Lauderdale on the second attempt. The Hornets with the 9-point lead. White at the controls. Down low to Lamus Brown. They go to the give and go. White lost the handle. Fox has it for Fullerton.
I thought that was a pretty good feed. White has to have it.
Yeah, it was. Poor spacing, though. The rest of the Feather River players could have done a better job of vacating that area.
Lauderdale will fire from 17 feet off the back iron. White with the long rebound. The Eagles want to run. Now Randolph will pull it out. Goes to work on Anderson. Kicks it out to White. Around to McDonald. Brown, turnaround shot, no good. Rebound tapped around. The Hornets continue to do the job on the defensive glass.
Yeah, pretty good job by Lauderdale pushing Brown off his spot there and forcing him to go to almost a Patrick Ewing-like fadeaway.
Skip pass. Reese will try for 3. That's no good. Long rebound to Smith. Smith with a 2-on-2. He's going to pull it up. Skip it across. McDonald, he walked.
Yeah. That's a terrific job defensively in transition by Anderson to really negate the angle that Smith was trying to take.
Guys, I got to tell you, through a little over a game and a half here, I love what Nick Anderson does on the court.
Yeah. So with Fullerton playing a zone defense, now they're subbing there, so Brown out. If I get the ball and I'm Reese in this corner right here in front of the Fullerton bench, I am attacking off the dribble and not settling for some of those shots. Feather now back into the man-to-man.
Anderson hounded by Randolph. Hornets will run a little bit of clock, down to 17 on the shot clock. Looking for Lauderdale down low. In a crowd, scores.
That's a blatant push-off. You see Lauderdale extend the arm to create separation, but he scores.
I thought I saw that too, but no call.
They get away with it because he does his work before the ball gets there.
That's a great point.
I'm full of them.
Randolph directing traffic. Fletcher has checked in. Smith, 4-3, no good. Rebound to Nick Anderson.
It's a bad shot. Zero flow in the offense. No continuity. And Fullerton rolling right now up by 11.
Yeah, the Hornets have really established their game. Anderson in from the right, lays it in. Timeout on the floor.
You can see Feather River defensively really starting to lose their intensity off the ball. There's no help, no rotation of any type there.
Just a 30-second timeout here for Randy Rick on the Feather River sideline. And, guys, I have to imagine that this is a fairly common occurrence for a team like Fullerton. When you can lock a team down defensively and take them out of what they want to do on the offensive end, almost inevitably, it seems to then have an effect on their defense on the other end. And teams get frustrated, get taken out of what they want to do, and you're starting to see a couple of breakdowns here on the defensive end for Feather River.
Yeah, one of the things as a coach, I always said that the bad shot bone is connected to the bad transition defense bone that is then connected to the help side rotation, and what you have is a chain of broken bones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you consider yourself a basketball chiropractor?
Oh, absolutely. I know how to make the proper adjustments.
I love it.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
Feather River with an uphill climb. They now trail it by 13, 16:48 to go in the game.
Well, they do live way up on a mountain, so they're used to the climb. Wherever Quincy is.
Kevlin Swint has checked in for Feather River. So Randolph in a crowd, tries to drop the pass down low. It's knocked around, still on the floor. It's going to go back to Fullerton. Another turnover. Set the lineup very quickly for you for Feather River.
Fullerton has packed that defense into the paint. Other than Randolph, there is no reason to come out of there. And it has been effective so far. And now you can see they're going to control some tempo.
You need to start setting some picks in spots where you can free up Randolph in the seam for open threes.
Anderson off a screen. Starts a drive on Randolph, leaves it for Lauderdale, steps in, fires from 18 feet, too strong. Lamus Brown boxing out for the rebound. White and Randolph in the backcourt. Smith in from the left, the runner no good. The rebound's on the floor. Anderson has it, but a whistle comes in.
Foul on Lauderdale.
I've been trying to set the lineup here for a second, so let me just get to the rest of that. Randolph and White, Swint with Lamus Brown and Anthony Smith up front for Feather River.
Feather River needs a dunk. Get them back into this one. A dunk on somebody.
Yeah, it's so easy to forget that in the game against ELAC, that was a back-and-forth affair, a very tight contest, and it was the energy that Smith seemed to bring in that second half that really ignited the Eagles down the stretch en route to a double-digit victory.
He had a dunk early in that second half that really keyed that stretch. It's a great point, Stoy.
Smart here.
White will bring it in baseline right. Randolph with a baseline drive all the way to the basket. Can't get the layup to go. Smith's follow no good. Brown has the rebound. Tries to drop a pass down low. White forces one up. A foul called. I believe this one's going to be on the floor.
How is that on the floor? He's obviously going up with it.
Unbelievable, no question. Brown drops him a dime. He's in his shooting motion, and they take the ball out of bounds.
And he didn't even dribble it.
I'm glad I retired.
White driving on Fox, has that one poked away by Barnes. Outside, Smith has it back. It's helter-skelter. Smith into the lane. It's loose again. Randolph going to fire for three. No good. Smith's tap, no good. Another loose ball here. This one's going to go back to Fullerton.
Smith better calm himself down.
No. Refereeing off the rails here in game one on the day.
Oh, and Fullerton egging him on.
Well, guys, Smith doing a great job crashing the offensive glass, but the follows, I think, are extremely difficult. Maybe like to see him grab the ball, gather himself a little bit, go back up.
How about this? Pitch it back out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's
Another possibility. Anderson getting some pressure from Randolph.
Oh, the run and jump now. See if Fullerton can pass out of pressure.
Smith all over Carter. Carter around him. Tries to drop it for Lauderdale, a kick ball.
I think this is the right approach. You got to get Fullerton out of their comfort zone or they will chew this clock up and just continue to work the ball down low.
yeah, they're going to be completely satisfied with a 51-34 win. But we might see that because FRC ice cold from the field right now.
Yep, they're going to need their defense here to get them going.
White with the interception. Into the glass, lays it in. So White goes coast to coast off the steal. 11-point game. They'll try to trap Fox. Fox on the drive. Out to Carter. Gets it back. Has Lamus Brown on him. He'll fire from three. Fox with his first three today. 14-point lead for the Hornets.
He's only got 5, but that's a huge 3.
Biggest lead for Fullerton. Randolph splitting a double team out to White. He'll try for 3. That missed everything. Barnes with a terrific box out on Smith. Anderson finds a cutting Barnes all the way to the basket. Blocked by White.
Good block up top.
Randolph back the other way. In on Fox. Hard drive. Scoop won't go. Foul called.
They need more of that.
Wow, did you see Randolph get his shoulder down and just completely gets right around with his first step into the bucket? Extensive
It almost
effort.
looks like he teleports. It's not even getting hips past the defender.
Yeah.
It's moving time and space and just getting to a spot a lot quicker than the defense.
Yeah.
Such a blur.
Nigel Carter did a nice job trying to get in position there, and it made no difference.
He just sends in the signal. Beam me to the front of the rim. In and out on the first free throw.
And he controls the switch.
Randolph with 9 points in the game. To go along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists.
Game 2 coming up. San Diego City and City College of San Francisco, the defending state champion, looking to go back-to-back here in 2017. Watch this game live, www.socalcollegesports.com. We have all of the players up there.
Feather extending their defense. There's the jump and the rotation.
Fox picks it up, finds Lauderdale in the lane, in on Williams, lost the
Travel!
handle, got it back. Smith digs it out, but they're going to say that Smith was out of bounds, so Fullerton will keep it.
Where's the travel? Can I get a replay here, Matt? Watch the feet. Watch the hop. Oh, my goodness.
I don't need to watch. I know it's there.
What are you watching, Zebras?
Baseline left, into Ross, lays it in. Smith still talking to the referee, but it's a 15-point lead for Fullerton, and the Eagles better gather themselves here very quickly or this one can completely get away. Randolph will fire for three and hit.
Need a lot more of that.
Still a 12-point game. Anderson over the timeline. Randolph pressuring the ball, pokes it away. Randolph has the steal. Layup up and good. Randolph with a quick 5-0 run by himself. It's back to a 10-point game.
You gotta take control of that. That's a foul on Ross. That's just dumb. What are you doing?
Yeah, you got to wonder what Ross is thinking.
Yeah, Perry Webster is well out on the floor, and I know the officials have talked to him a couple of times. I think he wants a timeout. And he's going to get one. And, Mike, I believe you saw the play, but Ross, did he just sort of throw an elbow or knock Smith over?
Well, Smith baited him into it, and he was getting in front of him and impeding his progress as Ross was trying to run down the floor. And then Ross blatantly just shoves his shoulder right into Smith, and Smith sells it, goes to the floor, and we're going back the other way. So it's a 5-0 run here for Derek Randolph and company, and let's see if Feather River can capitalize.
Unfortunately for Fullerton, the refs didn't miss that call.
Evan Swanger, the lead official, immediately called his crew together during that timeout and said, guys, tighten it up right now and keep this game in hand. Only 4 fouls against Fullerton, 3 against Feather River. Not nearly enough, in my opinion, for a game of this physicality.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
And to the point that we talked about at the half, Barnes and Reese, who had gone for 28 points combined, are a combined 0 for 4 here so far in the second half.
Jeff, in our conversation with Randy earlier today,
Randolph from way downtown, too strong. Ross has the rebound.
He was very concerned about how his team would adjust to the referee.
Fox with a hard drive. Trapped in the corner, knocked out a play by White. It's going to stay with Fullerton, the shot clock at 19.
That energy decidedly better here for FRC. Will it be enough? A lot of time remaining. They're down by 10, 13, 34 to go.
The double teams have helped FRC kind of get a little momentum. Here's another one.
Swint comes on the double team. Anderson off to Reese, in on Williams. Turnaround shot with the left hand is good.
Tough shot.
Dylan Reese with a big-time answer.
Yeah, great job passing out of pressure ultimately, and then it's always the second pass, Big Mike, out of the double team.
White drives in among the trees. Smith's follow. They'll wave that off. A foul called. It's going to go against Feather River. It'll be Smith.
Yeah, you had to know that's coming.
Yeah. Pretty ticky-tack to what we saw 5 minutes ago, but I think it's merited, and you talked about it, a lot of physicality in this game, and after that last confrontation between Smith and Ross, it's going to be tighter from here on out.
Every ref in this gym knows to keep their eye on Smith from here on out.
Yep.
Well, he clearly wears his emotions on his sleeve out there on the court. Lauderdale faces up on Brown. Travel before any contact. Lauderdale turns it over.
Well, it's nice that they finally saw one.
Yeah, I think, from our assessment up here, Lauderdale could have been called for a couple of turnovers at the very least that haven't been called.
Look at
Randolph
that
on the drive, off to Brown, fouled on the way up.
And they need more of that. Randolph needs to break everybody down and just turn it in turbo mode.
He settles for, in my estimation, I have been watching him now for a whole 27 minutes in my life. He needs to stop settling and attack the basket.
Yeah, enough of the dribbling. Show we know you got handles. You know what? Go to the bucket, make something happen, find a seam and exploit it.
Well, at this point, it's win or go home. And if in the very near future he doesn't get in the lane about 30 more times, they're going to be fishing tomorrow.
Absolutely.
First free throw for Brown, no good. He's got one more coming. That one good. So Brown goes 1 out of 2. The Hornets have the 11-point lead. Randolph with the steal on the inbound. Has Reese in a switch. Randolph's going to back off.
He's going to pull.
Now the big man wants the ball. Is he going to give it to him?
He's waiting for the defender to stop.
Randolph will fire from 3, in and out. Barnes with the rebound in a crowd. Stolen again. Swint, White up with it. He's fouled.
Throw it inside and then relocate to the corner, Derek.
Well, This was a little bit of shades of what we saw on Thursday. The Hornets had a lot of trouble with pressure from Kenyatta.
Yeah.
And since Feather River has amped up the pressure, now the turnover's starting to pile up for the Hornets again.
And Swint's been very good in terms of applying pressure and with the delayed double team in the half court.
Well, and the thing that will help Feather River here, they have the rim protector, Lamus Brown, in the back row. So they can afford to take some chances and force some penetration plays because they have the big 7-footer in the paint.
Yeah, Jamel White with just 2 points. He had 19 in the victory on Thursday. 80% foul shooter. Hits the second. So 2 out of 4 on that trip. Reese working against pressure finds Barnes. Barnes in on Smith. Smith blocks it.
Good block up top. It's a good no call.
No question.
Smith filling the lane, hangs in the air, can't get it to go. Barnes another rebound.
It's tough.
Ill-advised shots from FRC.
Just way too high degree of difficulty.
No question.
Randolph all over Fox. Around a Barnes screen. Drops it down low. Ross goes up. He's fouled.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clean up top there, Will.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the contact was there.
You know, I feel like when you go straight up, it's a little bit of an offshoot of your, if it looks awkward, it's going to draw a whistle. I feel like when you go straight up and hard at the basket, that officials are slightly more prone to see a foul or to give a foul, in all honesty, in that situation.
Yeah.
And Ross just went right up with the ball. White went up to challenge. I don't think he gets the benefit of the call there.
Yeah. You're saying that he was hit on the chin is the official call. Spread the word, everybody. If you have some family or some friends that maybe want to watch this broadcast, you can go to www.socalcollegesports.com. You can also go to our channel on YouTube, SoCal College Sports 1, and let us know how we're doing. Tweet at us, at SoCal College SPO.
51-39. The Hornets back out in front by 12. White with a drive on Fox. The layup won't go. Ross keeps it alive. Another whistle comes in.
It's on White.
This one's going to go against Jamel White. Quickly now, White up to 3 fouls.
Well, I thought White did a really good job of letting the game come to him that time. He found a seam, went at it, but just now can't finish.
Right. He did a nice job in that regard.
Fox pressured by Swint.
Here comes the trap. Make the next pass.
Anderson drops it down low. Ross in from the left, missed the dunk.
He's blocked.
I think he heard footsteps coming from behind.
Smith to the glass. Charging call.
Oh, my goodness. Smith in midair evades the defender. Let me get a replay on it.
Fourth. Well, let's see what the call is here. If it is, that's number 5.
The defender just falls down. That's number 5 on Smith. Smith is gone. That's a terrible call. That's an anticipation call.
Wow.
And one where you're not reading the situation if you're a referee. I gotta believe Jerry White over there evaluating with the red pen right now.
10
he's
points,
riding fiercely.
10 points, 8 rebounds for Smith. His day is done.
Wow.
5th foul comes on a charge. And you know, I think the other side of that, guys, is that Smith has had one speed in this game. And I think it is a very easy defensive play for Fullerton because you know he's going to fly to the rim. That's what he's been doing nonstop all day. So good anticipation. Whether or not the call was entirely correct is another conversation, I suppose. Barnes in the corner.
That's a
Whistle
good
comes in. Timeout taken by Fullerton with 11:22 remaining.
Yeah, Coach Webster not happy right now with the spacing of his press attack. He's probably going to draw that up.
Well, this has been Perry Webster's headache, I think, all weekend here is how do we deal with the press?
You know who dealt with the press back in his day really well? Perry Webster.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine he doesn't know what to do. That is for sure. And the Hornets who've led by double digits or thereabouts throughout this second half here, continue to close in. 51-39. And guys, the way they play defense, they can get down to about 5 minutes left and still have about a 10-point lead. You might have to pitch a shutout the rest of the way to win. That's how hard points are to come by.
Well, I know this is looking ahead here, and obviously we're 11:22 away from the end of the game, but as chippy and as at time as tense as this game has been, do both teams maybe think about not going with a handshake at the end? I know we've seen that between VC and BC a couple of years in football.
Yeah, as an athletic director, you want to consider that, especially if you're the athletic director about to win the game.
Yeah.
You don't want to risk that decorum violation. I think it'll probably be okay in this one, but I would certainly consider it.
Well, I don't think Feather River is going to want to shake hands with the officials.
That's for sure.
But they might not hold it so much against Fullerton. Fox will launch it from 35. Came up empty, the ball out of bounds, back to Feather River.
The shot clock down to 4, so I understand why he could have got a better shot.
Yes. All right, what will Randolph do this time?
Well, now he's got Anderson on him. They've been switching up between Fox and Anderson for much of the game, moving back and forth from man-to-man to zone. Around a Brown screen. Anderson recovers. Randolph for 3, that's good.
Watch out.
Well, Randolph now with a little more weight on his shoulders with Smith having fouled out.
Oh, man, I forgot to clip out the trading places. Randolph!
I can't quite say Feather River, we're back yet. Anderson throws it off of McDonald, out of play. Fullerton will keep it, the shot clock at 15. The Eagles continue to amp up the pressure. Fox quickly trapped, finds Anderson open for 3, that's good.
What a response.
Excellent ball movement out of the double team, a couple passes like we've said, and there he is, Anderson, to knock down the shot.
7 assists in the game for Nick Anderson, but that's a big shot that he just hit. Swint drives the lane, missed the layup.
And Randolph's missing out there. If he relocates instead of going to contain, he's going to have a wide open shot from the wing.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the 7-footer in the high post.
Reese for 3, rimming no. Barnes on the offensive glass, fouled by Randolph.
Only the second foul on Randolph now.
Both teams in the penalty. So it'll be Barnes heading to the line.
1-1 at least the rest of the way. 54-42, 10:02 to go in this one. Semifinal number 1 for the man number 2 coming up, CCSF in San Diego City. Slated for a 3 o'clock start time. Mike Cepeda, Jeff Stoynoff, Will Cowan with you on the call for this one and that. And the women later on at 5 and 7 o'clock get to steal. White gets careless with the ball. Fox. Anderson can't go inside looking for Barnes. It's tapped up and it hits the back of the backboard. It's going to stay here after it was tapped by Lamus Brown. It hit the pillar behind the board, and that's the correct call. Haven't heard a lot of that today. They enter into Barnes. Barnes nearly had it stolen, and indeed White picks his pocket.
That's a nice job by White recovering after the unforced turnover on the previous possession. Stays in it defensively.
Swint back to Randolph. Randolph from 30. Yes! Well, that's one, Coach, where if he takes it, you're scratching your head, and if he makes it, you're just like, nice shot.
And you're like, no, good shot.
There's no question about it. Fullerton right back at the bucket answering, but can't complete.
Oh, what a play by
can't
Fox.
Contain the rebound. Fox in there for the board. He's going to be rewarded with 2 shots.
Yeah, Brown just can't quite corral it, and Fox gets his nose in there.
Right now, Coach Perry Webster is talking to his players, Anderson and Fox, and saying, look, I know that FRC is trying to chirp and get in your ear. You need to not play into that game and make this a heated contest. You are winning on the scoreboard, and you need to continue to do what you're doing. Williams about ready to check back into the ball game. He'll come on for Lamus Brown. A little bit more offensive potency from the perimeter, as Williams shoots it about 40% from 3. So another shooter at the disposal for FRC, and let's see if that makes a difference on the other end. Right now it's a double-digit lead for the Hornets on top of the Golden Eagles.
Now you have Brown out with the rest. Smith fouled out. This could be tough to find offense here for Feather. So just give it to Randolph.
Tough sledding without one of your lead dogs. Randolph out front, off to White. White looking to enter in the high post, has Williams. Williams from the elbow, that's no good. And losing it out of bounds, that's going to be Anderson.
Yeah,
or
Anderson.
Barnes. No,
Anderson.
Anderson.
So high up for the rebound, but unable to stick the landing.
Yeah, he tried to go with the trust fall. Nobody was there to hold him up. So to go back to the Golden Eagles. Thought that was a pretty good shot there for Williams, just can't get it to go. Swint from way downtown. That's off. White with a rebound, point blank. He'll have to bring it back out to Williams. Williams trying to finish up top. No. Lauderdale with a rebound. The Hornets now with the ball.
And now it looks like Randolph's come up favoring his left ankle.
Half-court trap. They enter inside to Lauderdale, working against McDonald, and it's tapped up and in by Ross.
Yeah, Ross is so good on the weak side rebounds. He's crashed and done an excellent job there.
Out to a 13-point lead. McDonald from three. That's off. It's going to go out of bounds back to the Hornets.
You know, three shots here on the last couple possessions from three different guys, and nobody able to knock anything down. And right now it's Randolph really having to carry the load offensively.
Swint comes up for the trap. McDonald. Here's Ross with it. Gets it back over to Fox up top. Good job breaking the pressure there by the Hornets.
Feather River has attempted 27 threes tonight, which is far too many for a team that shoots it.
Yeah, they're only 7 of 26.
26, I misadded. Far too many for a team shooting 30%. They need to be getting the ball into the painted area.
Yeah. Or at least making an attempt to go inside out and create a better shot from the perimeter.
Yeah,
these are contested looks or from regular three, and then it's either that or 30-footers.
Yeah,
right.
The scary thought is they're 8 for 30 from 2-point range. So it's not getting a whole lot better closer to the basket.
You're exactly right.
But I agree, a little more ball movement might open up a little bit of room.
Rams and the Knights getting ready to do battle in semifinal number 2 on the day here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Right now, Feather River reeling, taking on the top team out of the South, Fullerton College. What a year in terms of athletics for Fullerton. Get the football championship back in December and a chance for the basketball title here in 2017. As Phil Thurman finds his way up to the broadcast booth, SID for Fullerton College, friend of SoCal College Sports.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Phil this year, haven't we?
We really have.
Football coverage and our playoff coverage.
Fox
and now here he is
up.
again.
Over to Barnes. Barnes with a double-double. He has 19 and 10. Couple steals to add to it.
Well done. Into the side screen and roll.
Anderson from three. Yes!
You know, I really like Anderson's poise there. Slows it down, gets into the side screen and roll. His defender goes under the screen, step back three. That is high-level basketball intellect right there from Anderson.
And to
really
get to
is.
something that you said earlier, Will, did a nice job of waiting for that screen to be set before he started his move.
Yeah, he learned from earlier mistakes, and what's happening now is Feather River's running around in this press, and Fullerton is just reversing the ball and picking them apart and extending slowly now to a, 14-point lead, 7.5 to play.
This could be a small storyline, but I'm looking at Kenny Barnes, and he is holding his right wrist. And he shook it in frustration, and I don't know if maybe he lost the feeling in there, maybe got hit on the elbow. I know that happens a lot, but he's been a big part of what Fullerton has done today. Obviously, leading all scores for Fullerton with 19. But yeah, back to the point on Anderson. What a great job of controlling the tempo of that possession and really going up and putting himself in a position to succeed. Buries the tray. It's a 14-point advantage for Fullerton, 7:26 to go.
Yeah, you really walk a fine line when someone's pressing you and you have a lead of, do we attack, do we not, do we attack, do we not? And the reality is you do attack, but it doesn't mean you have to shoot it. And in that case, Fullerton was able to reverse the ball.
Yeah.
You take a look at his line, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. That after 9, 9, and 8. on Thursday. You know where I'm going with this. He's giving him the fat lever treatment here.
Fat lever. You know who's very complimentary of Fat lever? Magic Johnson.
Yep.
Said he was one of the toughest guards he had to play against.
I don't know that there are not too many better rebounding guards in the history of the game. I mean, just phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, the way that he's able to completely control the game has been incredibly impressive.
Well,
and it's been huge today.
Will, I'm going to ask you some of the trivia that we went through a couple days. It was either yesterday or the day before. Did you hear some of them yesterday with the trivia?
I did not.
I'm going to ask you one that Story came up with yesterday. Can you name the only 2 Naismith Award winners to win it as a freshman?
To win the national title or to win the award?
To win the award.
To win the award.
Oh.
As a freshman or, as a freshman?
Most outstanding player.
Yeah.
It's 2, right? Story?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Wow. I'm gonna have to take a 30 on that.
Well, we'll check back at the 5.5 minute mark. First free throw up and good for Barnes. FRC in the double penalty. Second free throw good. Well, the result of that trip at the free throw line is any indication. The wrist looking just fine. McDonald all the way to the other end, has it blocked off of him. It's going to stay here with FRC.
We do want to, speaking of trivia, we still want to get back to our brand new SoCal College Sports, What's Wrong with This Story? We put it up briefly at halftime, but we're telling the story of a great moment in sports, and you have to correct the errors found in the story.
Randolph enters into Swint. Nearly stolen, but Feather River does contain it. Brown looking for the ball down low. Brown, they enter it in. He goes up with it. He finds Swint on the far side. He can't contain it. Brown from 8 feet. That's off. Rebounded by Kenny Barnes. Barnes has that pass deflected. Anderson, the recipient, off to Reese. Reese will bring it back out, and that's what you talked about just a second ago there, Will. You can attack, but you don't have to shoot it. That's a great job of evading the pressure if you're Fullerton.
That's
Barnes
right.
on the baseline, and that's just easy money.
Yep.
Guys, it is such a luxury to have 2 guards who handle the ball so well, like Fox and Anderson.
Yeah, Fox avoided contact well on that play.
Randolph with some English, can't find any contact with the basketball rim. The ball will stay here, goes off of a Fullerton player out of bounds.
Nobody's happy with the calls, even when they're ahead.
Pratt in the corner, throws it away. Anderson with a steal.
Yeah, great rotation. Anderson came from the weak side, stepped right in.
Barnes picks up his dribble, gives off to Reese. Reese over to Anderson. Anderson gets a screen from Lauderdale, pulls up from 17 over Lamus Brown and buries it. The lead is 20 for Fullerton. Shades of the Kenyatta game on Thursday. Randolph, highlight reel, three-pointer, no good. McDonald, that was off of the tape.
The cable.
The cable, the tape, the
Or
ribbon.
the apparatus.
Or a strap.
It looks like a ribbon. It looks like a ribbon.
It's not a ribbon. You have a cable and a safety strap,
Okay.
not an apparatus. However, anything really could be an apparatus.
But it's off.
Oh,
Knock up top, Kenny Barnes! Whoa!
Well, the wrist was strong enough on that one.
See the replay on that one. Over the 7-footer, posterized.
Now, in this case, you could say that the apparatus is still shaking a bit.
I appreciate the correction. As Barnes annihilates the apparatus and posterizes Lamus Brown. The punctuation point here in the semifinal number 1. Man, the entire gym off of their chair here at Las Positas.
We were already standing, but, man, that might have brought you to your feet.
Brought me to the ground. Had a chest pain on that one. Anderson looking inside to Lauderdale. Can't get it to him. Fox will reset. Fullerton in full kill the clock mode. Fox puts it up on the rim. Can't get it to go. Rebounded by Randolph. Randolph is tripped up by Reese.
Guys, I want to make a small point here as I'm watching Fullerton offensively in this one, and I don't know if you've seen the same thing. Feather River, I think, is really struggling to communicate defensively. The screens that Fullerton is setting, and particularly the high screens, are entirely too effective. At this point, you have to believe that there's not enough communication going on. Saw there Anderson move around a screen.
Yeah, Fullerton hits you with such a variety of ball screens from the side, the top, and everywhere else, and at different angles. And there is no question, and I'll tell you what it is. The communication in the Feather River defense comes from Smith and Brown.
Yeah.
And when they're not out there in combination, you got major problems on the rotations underneath.
It's a great point, Will.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Second free throw, no good from Randolph. Rebounded by Lauderdale off to Reese. The crowd still buzzing here after the huge dunk by Kenny Barnes. Well, this 4:45 remaining in this one, likely just a formality at this point. Fox up and under, nifty move. Ian Fox. Well, you know the kid can score it. He had 35 the other day. Lamus Brown inside working on Lauderdale. He's fouled, going up with it. Two shots coming.
Now, Big Mike, you got to wonder how Brown doesn't touch the ball at least every other trip down on the low block.
Well, you know, that back in the early 2000s, I also wondered why Shaq wouldn't touch the ball all the time. Now, I'm not saying Lamus Brown is Shaq, but sometimes you have players that don't like to enter it into the post. I'm not going to name any names.
Yeah. Or are you wondering why he didn't touch the ball more in the 2004 NBA Finals by any chance?
Let's not bring that up.
You know, there's an interesting story I would tell you about that. In that team, obviously running the triangle offense with Tex Winter, Phil Jackson, the glove, the mailman came in, and really from a basketball standpoint, late in their careers, the glove and the mailman had no interest in learning the triangle, none whatsoever. And what it did is it forced the Lakers to play what everybody else did, is stand around and run pick and roll, and that is not the ticket against the Detroit Pistons.
No. Especially against that team, you think about Ben Wallace defensively, Rasheed Wallace.
Sure.
Man, I mean,
and with the Lakers not running the triangle in its full effect as you would have liked to see, Malone hated the pinch. He hated passing out of the post. He didn't like the crowd of the front side. And then the glove had just no understanding of wanting to go run down and stand in the corner for a minute or two. So between those two, it was very interesting here.
Those are two players that I think are severely overrated in their careers. But, you know.
But tell us what you really think.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought the mailman was the beneficiary of playing with one of the greatest point guards ever.
Without question.
All time, I think John Stockton a better point guard than Karl Malone was a power forward. I don't care how many points he scored.
Well, you know, it's been interesting lately. All the talk's been about Dirk Nowitzki surpassing the 30,000 point mark in that class with Malone, of course. Kobe and Kareem and Wilt, I believe those are the six. And Karl Malone on that list is in a little different company than the other five, let's say.
Yeah, it's like it's much like the question that you posed earlier, the paragraph that you had. What player doesn't belong in this class? And I think Karl Malone probably doesn't fit the bill.
For the multiple MVPs, though, that was yeah.
Really? Do you really think he should have won the MVP either time?
Well, you can't ask me that question. I think they should have given it to Michael every year.
They probably should have, ever since 88? 88 up until every year that he played.
Yeah, so my answer is always the same. My vote's always the same. That's why I don't get a vote. Well, that's a little bit, it's like you made the same case for LeBron for most of his career. It's, when is he not? The guy really was the MVP. Just by the very nature of how he plays.
The only time he's not is when maybe a player just has an unbelievable year. And, Steph Curry had an unbelievable year last year in terms of his efficiency and his ability to kind of lead that team as good as they were. I think the MVP this year should be James Harden. 4:06 to go. It's 24-point lead for the Hornets. Blowout time now. McDonald gets it up on the rim. Can't get it to go. Rebounded by Lauderdale. And the offensive futility continues here for FRC.
It's not that it's costing him this game, but there have been a number of missed easy shots here in this second half for Feather River. It's just one of those days, I think, for this team. That was another really point-blank look that just didn't go down.
Dribble weave into a high screen and roll.
I mean, the execution is just super on point. Anderson gets a wide open three out of the corner. He misses it, but it's a great look. Lauderdale with a rebound, fighting for it, puts it back up and in. Timeout, Fullerton.
Interesting timeout there. Probably a substitution. It is.
Timeout. He's
Clear
going to
the
get some
bench.
freshmen in there.
No question. Very important, actually, from Coach Webster here to save some legs for tomorrow.
And he's praising Lauderdale in the huddle.
He is a beast down low. He really is a hard worker.
You know, here's the thing about Lauderdale, and I was a little harsh of him on Thursday. I thought he could have been a little bit more physical. Tonight, he has been fantastic in terms of his physicality, controlling that physicality, not getting out of control, and just being an all-around great post player down low for the Hornets.
No question about it. His effort on the glass, he's actually a good passer. His footwork is solid down there. I am really, really impressed.
We are getting some answers on the on what's wrong with this story graphic.
Are they answers or just a bunch of people calling us idiots?
Gaucho, dude, that was the fear. These want to be very clear here with the graphic up. These mistakes are intentional.
Probably should have said that at the top of the podcast.
I'm very familiar with this particular play.
Okay, so first off, Will Cowan had it correct. Jamal Mashburn was not the defender. He had already fouled out.
Yes, nice. That is one. There are
I had to throw it out
five
there,
errors in there.
Did Hurley throw the pass?
No, he did not.
Well, is there anything in there correct other than the guy that shot it?
Well,
No.
that's the whole point here. There've got to be mistakes.
Well, okay.
Grant Hill threw the pass.
It was Duke and Kentucky in the game.
So you got the teams right and Leitner. Jeez.
Again, intentional errors.
Oh, no. Randolph from the other city. He shot that from Pleasanton.
I'm not familiar with the geography up north here, Will. Come on now.
Well,
Back the other way. And hitting that one, that is Rocket Henderson. They call him Rocket. His name is Rodney. It's on a layup. 3 for McDonald. Well, CCSF, San Diego City College getting ready to duke it out. And you want to talk about a game where you got to get your track shoes ready.
no question. You talk about two physical teams that play at a high level of intensity.
Yeah.
Two of the well, it's interesting. They're both city colleges, which there are not many of. I believe there's 6 city colleges in California.
Riverside count as one? Riverside City?
Yeah, Riverside. It's San Diego, Riverside, Santa Barbara, Pasadena, San Francisco, and Fresno, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
So,
that's right.
want to ask a question here now. This is obviously a very, very satisfying win. Fullerton, an outstanding game in all phases, picking up after Thursday, improving in any number of ways. What about for tomorrow? From a coaching standpoint, what's the challenge here for Perry Webster? Is you got to worry a little bit about maybe a little bit of a drop-off, even obviously with such an important game coming up.
Well,
I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see that. They're such a good team on the execution and the way they play. It's hard to get them off their game because they just do it so well.
I mean, think about it. FRC, a team that averages over 90 points a game on the season. They have 55 on the scoreboard, 2:31 to go.
Right. And Big Mike, we talked about it in the pregame, is that Fullerton defense was really going to pack it in tonight.
23%.
Yeah, and 23% on how many attempts, though?
16 of 67.
Right. It's incredible. And, yeah, they're going to throw in some of those, but they're not getting easy shots.
No.
Everything they get is contested off the dribble.
Yeah, it was a long 2 for Randolph.
Rocket. Near side. Has it. Baseline jumper. That's off. Donald with a rebound. Well, both teams in our next matchup like to get up and down, and obviously we have Pratt hits on the 3. But CCSF in particular, they can really do it in all phases. They can get up and down. They can pressure you in the half court, in the full court. They're very well coached. Henderson looked like he traveled. I think the referees just want to get out of here.
Yep, everybody right now is planning out their next meal.
I think they just closed the hospitality suite. Anderson inside, behind the back. Nifty
I
pass
have an idea
inside.
where. Yeah, I know where half the pizza went.
Watkins, yeah, well, I had about
Hey,
4
you can't
slices
prove that.
myself. I can neither confirm nor deny. That ball tapped away. Gee, back the other way, lays it up and in.
So
a dominating performance here in semifinal number 1 for Fullerton.
So let's talk about the UCLA-Arizona ending last night. Did you see the controversy on the timeout?
I did not.
So, a little history. The UCLA beat Arizona on senior night a few weeks back, and Coach Alford took a very, very late timeout just to well, he said to sub and set his defense, but it was really to let the fans give it to the Wildcats a little bit. So last night with .9 on the clock, the Wildcats take timeout just to let that Vegas crowd have a little piece of the Bruins. And the guys at Billis and the guys on ESPN, that's all they talked about for an hour this morning, whether or not it's gamesmanship or what it is.
Get over it.
That's what I say. If you're in Vegas, stays in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, if you're in Vegas, it gets broadcast on ESPN. Talked about for an hour. Well, hey, on ESPN they have to manufacture debate, and I understand it. It's the reason why First Take is taking off.
Well, you got to fill 24 hours of sports talk. That is a little part of it, too.
84-60. They do a fine job. ESPN's very good at what they do, and we're just trying to aspire to be as good as that. 84-60, your final here in semifinal number 1. Fullerton moves on to Championship Sunday. Back in a moment here on SoCal College Sports. $84-60, your final score in the throttling of FRC. Fullerton moves on to Championship Sunday. Man, what an impressive performance from the Hornets. And Obviously, the refereeing not doing any favors to Feather River, but they didn't respond very well out of it, and Fullerton took advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm struck by the improvement, particularly taking care of the ball. They really cut down on the turnovers and did a great job dissecting the pressure after a brief struggle, I think, early in the second half dealing with some of the pressure. They really did a great job moving the basketball, creating open shots. And as I alluded to it toward the end of the broadcast, that was near perfection. I think for Perry Webster, how does he get that same performance one more time?
Well, for me, and we talked about it in the pregame, the Fullerton defense was able to hold a team averaging in the 90s, FRC, way down to 60 points tonight.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal team defense from Fullerton. It wasn't any one player, but they contest shots, they put a hand in the face, they rotate, and they force you to take difficult shots. And that is what, to answer your question, can be replicated every day if you're Fullerton, because that's the way they play. It's in their character.
Derek Randolph, not the reason why Feather River lost this game. He finishes with 24 points, but really didn't have much help from anybody else outside of Anthony Smith, who fouled out early with about 12 minutes to go in the ball game. Yeah, maybe even more than that. He finishes with 10 points. But just congratulations to the Feather River Golden Eagles on a fantastic season and making it up here to Las Positas. But they go down to the top team in the South. Again, Perry Webster and company, Orange Empire Coach of the Year, and showing a lot, very, very much why Kenny Barnes. What a performance, 25 points, including a monster jam over the 7-footer Lamus Brown.
Yeah, I mean, this is what makes a team so scary. Is it was Ian Fox in the quarterfinals, and today it's Kenny Barnes, it's Dylan Race, it's Nick Anderson making the contribution. When you can get it from different guys, it makes you so much more difficult to defend, and we're already talking about a team that plays great defense to start with.
Yeah, for me, Lauderdale is really an important factor inside for Fullerton tonight. As you can see, has a very nice line, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 3 of 8 from the field. He's very smooth, he's high energy, and he plays at the right tempo. Yeah. He plays at the right tempo.
And setting picks that really annihilate the opposing team really don't show up in a box score. We saw a lot of those tonight, and a lack of communication obviously hurt Feather River in that regard defensively. That'll do it for our coverage here. Semifinal number 1, semifinal number 2 coming at you in about 15 minutes. CCSF San Francisco, the defending state champs, looking to go back-to-back here in 2017. But standing in their way at San Diego City College. For Jeff Storinoff, Matt Henson, Will Cowan, and the entire team here at SoCalCollegeSports.com. We're signing off. We'll be back with you in about 15 minutes.